requires her followers, its followers, to spread the message of Islam with the help and logic of the Quran, not with the help of sword, not with the help of force. And the rest of the Muslims generally, I must say, like Saudians for instance, Wahhabis I should say, they believe that the holy war is an essential fundamental of Islam, which means that you are permitted to use force to resolve your religious and ideological differences with others. We say if you use force of any sort for propagation of your ideology, then the war initiated by you would be an unholy war. But you must propagate, even if you are obstructed by force. And when obstructed by force, then you have a right to raise sword against sword. That is a holy war, not otherwise. That is one fundamental principle where we disagree with them. We have a different understanding. Secondly, we believe that Jesus Christ was a prophet of God, a human being who died a natural death, but he did not die upon cross. God saved him, so he was redeemed from the cross in a state of a sort of coma. He survived those injuries and was seen by his followers later on at different places. So he gradually moved away from the place where he was crucified and moved out of the influence of Roman Empire, the boundaries of Roman Empire, and migrated to other places where other earlier Israelites had also migrated. This is our belief about Jesus Christ. They believe no, Jesus Christ was so special that he had neither a father participating in his birth, nor did he die at all up till now. He was ascended, he was taken up bodily by Allah, and he is waiting somewhere in space. We don't know which star he is settled on, but according to their belief, he is somewhere in the space, in the heavens. He himself would return to revive Islam, to make Islam victorious again over all the rest of the religions. This is their belief. We believe no, it's sheer nonsense. It's unreal. He died a natural death, but though he was saved from the crucifixion. But he later on migrated to the people of Israel who had migrated earlier, administered his ministry to them, spread the message far and wide, and died a natural death. I'm not going to go into the arguments, I'm just telling you the facts of differences. And it will not be he in person who will descend from the skies somewhere. It will be somebody in his name, in his character, in his style, in his approach to problems, who would be raised by God, and he will not be any other person than Imam Mahdi himself. We believe it's a misunderstanding and misinterpretation of the prophecies, because we find it mentioned in Ibn Majah, one of the 6 authentic books of Hadith, that there will be no Mahdi except Isa. Lal Mahdiyo illa Isa. So our interpretation is exactly as mentioned in this Hadith. We believe one person will be raised from one angle of vision. He will be entitled Al-Mahdi, to lead the Muslims. From another angle of vision, because he will confront the Christian world and rehabilitate the true image of Jesus Christ. So he will be called also Christ. And this is another big difference. The third big difference is that they believe that because the Holy Prophet is entitled Al-Khatam al-Nabiyyin, it means that no prophet of any sort would ever appear in the Ummah. We say it is not a question of another prophet. It is a question of the status of Imam Mahdi as prophesied by Hazrat Muhammad Rasulullah, and the status of Al-Messiah as prophesied by Hazrat Muhammad Rasulullah. He knew the Quran better than any other mullah or any other man on earth ever to be born. What he said was that Imam al-Mahdi would come. He would be directly appointed by God, raised by God as Al-Imam. And it will be essential for every Muslim to believe in him. And we say this is the definition of a prophet. A religious leader which is directly appointed by God and to believe in him is made essential, happens in no other case but that of a prophet. So you may name him anything, but virtually, for all practical purposes, he is to be a prophet. But not a new prophet, not a prophet outside Islam, not a prophet to be able to, with the authority to change even an iota of the Quran, not a prophet with an authority to change even an iota of the word of the Holy Master, Hazrat Muhammad Rasulullah. So a prophet totally subservient to the Quran and to the prophet of the Quran, to the Rasul of Quran. This is the Ahmadiyya view. They say no, this makes this whole believing in the Messiah and the Al-Mahdi to hold the titles of prophethood turns you out of the pale of Islam. We say, how come it? Hazrat Muhammad Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam himself, speaking of the future Messiah, says he will be Nabiullah, Nabiullah, Nabiullah. 4 times in Muslim, one tradition we find the mention like this. So, doesn't he know Islam? Who prophesies himself? So, he entitles Messiah to be Nabiullah, whatever the meaning be. That Nabiullah concept is not against Khatm Nabiullah, because that prophecy of Nabiullah was made by no less a person than Hazrat Muhammad Rasulullah, Khatamun Nabiyyin himself. So to call it at odds with Khatamun Nabiyyin is an insult to the Holy Prophet. It's like saying he didn't understand the Quran. So his understanding must prevail, and that is our understanding. So the way he described Al-Mahdi, he described it as a subordinate prophet of Allah, Mahdi guided. Mahdi means guided. Guided both by Allah and guided by his Prophet Muhammad Rasulullah. So a total subservient in Islam. That is not against Khatm Nabuwwah. And Prophet Messiah, as he mentioned, he himself called him a Nabiullah. So anyone who claims to be a Messiah and says, I am not Nabiullah, what should be the reaction of the Ummah? They should reject him. Is to say, what sort of Messiah are you? You say you are Messiah and not Nabiullah. Hazrat Muhammad Rasulullah said, Messiah and Nabiullah. Whom should we believe? Obviously Hazrat Muhammad Rasulullah. So this is only a difference in verbs, in terminology, and unnecessary quarrel. We believe in the finality of Islam. We believe in the finality of Hazrat Muhammad Rasulullah as the last law-bearing prophet whose word will continue to live and remain operative till the end of the time. These are the major areas of differences. Again, there are many differences about in the smaller areas, like the concept of angels. We don't believe the angels have literal wings. We know from the Quran that the word wing is used to indicate attributes. So some angels have more attributes, some have less attributes. They are spiritual beings. They don't have human dimensions. They're not material like we are. So don't dispute the nature of angels unnecessarily. We have no knowledge. We must believe in general that angels do exist. And similarly, we don't believe that the same body of the man will be resurrected after death. We believe that a new spiritual body would be created by Allah out of the same soul which we possess here. And if you insist on the same body, then some people are born with ugliness, some people have one leg or one arm or none, and some people are born without eyes. So if they have to be resurrected exactly as they existed in the world, what a hell it would be for them to be thrown into the Jannah, limping around or not being able to walk, carried around and so on. Uglies would be the uglies would be the uglies, and the beautiful would enjoy the beauty. that is no way of enjoying heaven at all. So we believe these are spiritual things, spiritual terminology. This is how Imam Mahdi was guided by Allah. He told us these beautiful truths. He said, you will be resurrected in the form of that soul, which was formed by your good acts or bad acts. If your bad acts created an ugly soul, your new personality will be extremely ugly and full of sores and diseases. If you have been good here and you have been healthy here, your soul will emerge as a beautiful being with all the characters which you enjoyed and exercised here in this life. So there are differences, of course, of understanding in so many areas. If you read about all the differences, then it is not necessary for you to debate the issue on the knowledge of this and knowledge of that. Your conscience should be the final judge. It will immediately see where the truth lies and where it does not.
That's absolutely.
You come to me tomorrow.